Hey everyone! Today we are in a minis challenge. This challenge is hosted by Crafted by Corie. Her channel link along with the playlist link will be in my description box. On today's video, it's all about fall and apples. Yummy, yummy apples. My name is Tammy. This is lamascreationsdiy. Let's start crafting. We are starting off with our first craft with clay. What I'm doing is I'm going to roll it into a ball and I'm going to try and shape it into an apple. I use a little floral stick to stick in the top, and then using my pokey tool I try and make the bottom of the apple, and then I also put an indent on the top. I make 3 this size and I make 5 smaller little tiny apples. Next, what we're doing, these are all the apples. We're going to paint the big apples with my Imperial Red by Folk Art Home Decor chalk paint. And we just paint the entire big apples with this color. Paint dries really quick on clay. I love that. For the little apples, I'm using a little bit of the Vintage Mustard by Home Decor chalk paint and mixing in the red together. And I use the mustard paint on the top and the bottom, giving it a little bit more dimension and trying to make it look more like a crab apple. If you've ever seen a crab apple, they're not truly red. They kind of have different little colors on them. And they're super sour. If you remember, I got these from PandaHall. What I'm doing is with the little squares, I'm going to glue 3 side by side and then another 3 side by side. And then we're going to take those 2 long pieces and glue those side by side. And I make 2 like this. Using some popsicle sticks, we're going to glue them onto the back to help hold all these together a little better. And I'm just using hot glue. You can use any kind of glue you want. Now, taking these longer triangle pieces, I'm going to glue 2 together because they weren't as thick as the other ones. So I'm gluing 2 together to make them a little thicker. And then I'm going to glue 2 of the other ones that I just already glued together. If that makes sense. And secure them with some popsicle sticks, and I make 2. Adding some glue to the edge of one of the longer pieces, bigger pieces we made, we're going to glue the smaller ones to the sides, just like that. Easier to see than explain. And then we're going to glue that other smaller piece onto the end. Too many pieces to explain. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Taking 3 more of the longer rectangle pieces, I'm going to glue 3 onto the bottom. So we have a base to this little thing. And then I glue some popsicle sticks down in there to help hold all that together as well. I run a little bead of glue up along the corners, give it a little extra strength. Now, taking a square dowel, you can use any kind of dowel, I cut off a medium-sized piece and a little tiny piece. And then using a round dowel, I measured up as far as I wanted to go, and I cut off 4 of the same size. And I'm just using my clippers. Using a little bit of hot glue, I'm going to glue the little tiny piece onto the long piece, looking like a big long T. And then we're going to glue the round dowel sticks to every corner, just with some hot glue again. I found some cardboard. It's just from an Amazon box, I think. I'm going to trace out the bottom of this little crate we're making and cut it out with a knife. You can use scissors, but I just found my knife a little easier. Taking that, we're going to glue it on top of the little dowel sticks. And just with some hot glue. I do turn it over and reinforce it a little better with some hot glue underneath. And that's what we have so far. Taking that little T we made, we're going to glue that to the front of this little crate, adding in some extra glue to make sure it stays. Then we're going to paint the whole thing brown, except for the roof. And this is Burnt Umber acrylic paint by Home Decor. Using some metallic silver, we're going to paint the roof. And then I also, where the glue was, I painted around that with the silver, kind of making it look like it was welded on, although you don't weld onto wood, but I wanted that effect anyways. I'm going to dry brush some black paint over top, just to give it a little bit of a rustic, dirty feel. And then using the same paintbrush, I'm going to dab some black all along the top, just like that. Then I dab on some brown. And then I dab on some white, trying to make it look like a tin roof. Using some metallic copper paint, I'm going to go around the edges, giving it a little bit of a rust. Sorry if you hear squeaking, I'm outside in my rocking chair and every time I move it squeaks. Using some more red chalk paint, I'm going to write on apple cider, and I'm just freehanding it. Then taking some styrofoam that I had in my stash, it's a good time to use it up. That stuff is messy though. And the rest of my raffia, I need to get some more. We're going to stuff the raffia all in this little crate and around the crate. And then I remembered I needed to add on some tires. So using some pop bottle caps, we're going to glue on 4 tires. Careful, the glue is hot. When you're pressing on that, it's pretty hot. Add in our little crab apples. And we got a little apple wagon. I love it. Next craft. Pick this here up at Dollar Tree. First, what we're going to do is, I was scoring along the edges of where the glue was. This thing was stuck on there good. And then I decided before I take that off, I'm going to score off the tractor because I didn't want that part. Keep it though, because we could use it for something else. You never know, right? And it was pretty easy to score off. After we got it all apart, I'm going to paint both of them with my sheepskin Home Decor chalk paint. Then I go over the frame with a little bit of burnt umber and kind of making it streaky to look like wood. Looked really cool. Taking a piece of scrapbooking paper, I'm going to take the backing of that sign, trace it on there, cut it out, and then we're going to Mod Podge that paper onto the back of the sign. I printed off this little basket of apples. We're going to Mod Podge on the back of that. Place it wherever you really like. I'm going up towards the top in the center and Mod Podge the entire thing. Now this here is it's paper ribbon. Comes all rolled up. I took a little piece of brownish beigeish one, unrolled it, and then I'm cutting it kind of on an angle in the corner. Using some thicker jute rope, I'm going to take 3 pieces and glue them across the paper, kind of like so. What I'm attempting to do is make a little basket. I think it turned out pretty cute. Now, taking our sign, we're going to glue it back down into our frame, just with some hot glue. And then taking our basket, we're going to glue it so it's hiding and the apples are just peeking out of the basket. And when you're done that, this cute little sign is done too. Next craft. I'm using red felt and green felt. I'm going to trace out what I think looks like an apple, fold it in a bunch of times, and then cut it out And then I do the same thing with the green and I make some leaves. Doing the same thing. Taking the leaves, we're going to glue them on top of the apples. Easy peasy. I pulled out some beads, and what I'm doing is I'm stringing on a white, kind of like a brownie red, a beige, and then a white, brownie red, beige, and a white. And I continue until I have what would be 4 beads in between. If you were to glue the apples on, there'd be 4 beads on either side. Taking the apples, adding some hot glue, I'm going to glue it to my string. And I do this all the way down. And got a cute little garland. Little apple garland. I picked this sign up at Dollarama. I believe it was $1.25. I'm going to take all the backings off, and then I'm going to stain it with this burnt umber paint. I use my water bottle and just wet down the wood, and then I rub the stain on with a cloth. Sorry if it sounds windy. I am outside and it's getting windy. And then I take some white paint and I just dry brush along the edge, just to give it something a little different. Taking words that I printed off of my computer, I take them down with some tape, put in some carbon paper underneath, trace it over with my pencil, and it'll transfer my image onto my board. Then using some black paint markers, I go over my words to bring them out. And then I printed off a cute little candy apple on a stick. We're going to Mod Podge that onto the center. Mod Podge on top. Add a little tumbling tower block to the back so it'll help it stand. And this little sign is done as well. Excuse me. I found this little house at Dollarama. It was $1.25. I thought it was super cute. I'm going to paint the roof and the base with my burnt umber acrylic paint. And then I'm going to paint around the house with Adirondack white. And then I also paint the frame of that door red. And then taking the same burnt umber paint, I'm just going to dry brush along the white, because, you know, white outside never stays white. And then, oh yeah, using a popsicle stick, I'm going to cut it down so it fits onto the front. And this part is hard to read, but you can read it when you see it. With a black paint marker, I write on Apple Shack. It's super tiny, I can't see it. Glue it onto the front, and this cute little shack is done. And here is everything together. I love it. I love fresh apples when you go and pick them off of a tree. Oh, yummy, yummy. They're so sweet and tasty and crunchy and nom, 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 nom. I would like to thank Corie for hosting this challenge. I always have fun being in this challenge. It's so fun making little tiny things. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe. Hit that like button. Share this video. Don't forget to comment. And don't forget that little bell. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. Love having you here. I hope everybody has a wonderful Friday, and we'll see you again next time. Bye.